Hare Gange Mahadev Sri Shankara Parvati Pati Mahadev Sri Shankara.
Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. And before we get started, I have an announcement for you. Are you ready to reconnect with your joy, that vibration of living in alignment with your heart, where you are fueled with passion to fulfill your Dharma, your soul's purpose? Well, if so, then I invite you to join us in Rose Gold Goddesses, because this month we are diving deep into the energy of Lemuria, the ancient civilization based off of living a life of alignment with your true joy. In this 2-hour workshop, we dive deep into what the Lemurian frequency is all about, connecting with the mermaid and dolphin energy, why we need community more than ever, and plenty of practices, rituals, journal prompts, and so much more, so you can finally make 2020 the year that you feel vibrant, radiant, and full of passion to actually create what you were meant to do here on this planet and live your truth. Well, if this is resonating with you, then come join us in Rose Gold Goddesses. You are going to love this Lemuria circle and the 11 other goddess circles we have done. You have access to all of them as soon as you join us in Rose Gold Goddesses. On top of that, you will be able to do my healing and embodiment through dance workshop. This is a 3.5-hour workshop with spoken and actual follow-along dance prompts you can do to connect to the healing energy of dance, to embody yourself, to release trauma, and step into your most embodied, authentic version. We also have my Awaken Your Powers Masterclass with Shaman Durek, my Sex Money Magic program with Alexandra Roxo, and dozens of other workshops available for you as soon as you join us in this community with 2,000 other spiritual soul sisters, all committed to living a life of joy, truth, fun, radiance, and Dharma. This is all available for you in Rose Gold Goddesses, my membership community, and I am so excited to invite you inside. You can find more information at rosegoldgoddesses.com. The link is in the show notes, and I can't wait to meet you. I am so grateful for you to be tuning into this episode. If it's your first time, welcome. I am a best-selling Ayurveda author. I have an upcoming book coming out this January, Discover Your Dharma. I have been doing this podcast for over 3 years, and I am the founder of Rose Gold Goddesses, a sacred sisterhood collective all about honoring the goddess within. And if you're here all the time, I don't need no introduction. What's happening? Woo! I would like to welcome you to the rest of your life. The energy that we are creating right now, in this moment, especially if you are listening to this right now in the month of August 2020, this is the energy that will carry you until 2023. Yes, you heard that right, until 2023. And I am not making this up. This is actually astrologically speaking. So I have been studying, different forms of astrology. We have another High Self podcast episode coming out for you in Vedic astrology. But essentially right now we are going through this very interesting portal. We have been feeling it in 2020, going through a lot of ups and downs and fears and shadow work and experiences from our past that we might not have fully healed. Your dreams may have been extremely prophetic, sharing you signals, maybe you have been processing things that you haven't been able to process in your waking life. Finally, you are processing it now in your dream state so you can heal and transmute it and step into the new paradigm. So astrologically, right now, as I'm recording this, we just entered a yad for the next 9 days. And these next 9 days specifically will be transforming our lives. And it is in these 9 days that our micro decisions will actually create the focus of where we will be in the next phase of our lives. So every single little decision that we make of, for example, just today, I was walking through the parking lot and I saw that there was a car that was parked. It had its sun shield on it, but I could hear that the engine was still on. So I made sure to go out of my way to find the security guard, to find who the owner of the car was, and like make sure that person knew that their car was on. Like going that extra mile to be the best, most honorable person, most in alignment with your morals. This is the time to not be too busy, to not overlook, to not be quick with things, to actually really, really focus, really honor. Don't let that piece of plastic stay on the floor. Don't let that conversation go unhealed. Don't let that fight linger on. This is the time to really let every single decision be a reflection of how you want to show up for the next 3 years and the rest of your life. Because as we know, every decision that we make, every year that we live, that is what creates our future. We right now are a result of all of the decisions that we've made in the past, and our lives are going to continue to unfold as a result of our daily decisions. So it can be as simple as, am I going to wake up and go straight on social media or not? It can be as simple as, am I going to binge on Netflix or do some yoga on my floor? It can be as simple as, am I going to go down another conspiracy rabbit hole, even though I always know it makes me feel like shit, it puts me in a fear state, it puts me into hysteria, or am I going to focus on my Dharma? You get to choose. And I have been saying this since March, since this whole coronavirus experience began, that this is the awakening. This is the awakening that we have been waiting for. And that doesn't mean that the past couple of months have not been extremely difficult. That does not mean they have not brought on a lot of pain and anguish. I've spoken about my process of my mom and my brother having the coronavirus in March and, feeling a lot of fear around it. Feeling the fear of death, feeling the fear of all sorts of things. But that all needed to come up for me and for anyone that experienced it, because that was in our subconscious. So we needed to go through the fear of what is that worst case scenario, and realizing that we are immortal souls. Realizing that sometimes we do have to let go of our attachment to the physical form. Because honestly, if you are attached to the physical form, you're going to have to learn the lesson that we are souls in a human body. You're going to have to learn it somehow. So for a lot of us, it's been through this portal. For some of us, it's been portals in the past. But it's not here to punish you, because death is not the end. Because we are here on this earth school learning. And the great part is, when you learn the lessons, you get to play, you get to enjoy. You then realize that it's not you against the world, but rather you and the world working together to co-create your highest vision. And why that vision was even gifted to you, because it is meant to blossom to life through your vessel. It chose you as its portal. No idea that you have is an accident. It chose you as its portal. So that idea that you've been having recently, that you've been sitting on, that has been incubating, this is the time, the decisions that you make right now, this is the time. Am I going to move forward with it or not? Am I going to create my reality or not? Because the only difference between joyful people and unhappy people are joyful people own the fact that we are creatrixes of our reality. That we don't wait for something to happen for us, or we don't wait for someone else to do something to make us smile. We don't wait to get invited to a fun gathering or whatever else it is. We create it for ourselves. And that's the difference between a joyful person. They're waiting in line at a DMV and they're finding something to laugh about. They're at home, but they're choosing to make it a board game night with like cool mocktails instead of scrolling endlessly on Instagram. They're creating those experiences. They're not waiting for it to happen. And that's why joyful people are so magnetic. Because they're initiatory people. They're taking the initiation to create these joyful experiences that most of us wait to be invited to. And then when it doesn't happen, when the world shuts down at times like this, we realize that we have been dependent on outside sources for our joy. And now there's no more club, there's no more nightclub, there's no more shopping, there's no more going out to restaurants, there's no more whatever it was. You are in charge of creating your own sense of joy. So this is the time right now. I know a lot of you are nodding along like, yeah, I already know this. I've realized this for myself. And for some of you, it might be very triggering. And that's just wherever you're at with this part of your journey. But I know for myself, this month really honing in on what does my life, my highest vision really look like? And I invite you to write this down, to ask yourself, what does my Dharma, my highest vision, my butterfly life look like? Where would I live? What would I be wearing? Who would I be friends with? What spiritual practices would I have? What exercises would I do? What would I eat? Where would I go? What would I have in my home? Think about every single dimension of your life. And then be honest with what is holding you back from all of this. What is holding you back from utmost joy in your love life, utmost joy in your career, utmost joy in your home, utmost joy in your abundance? What is holding you back from that? And you'll find that often it's one thing. It's one limiting belief that has masked into these different forms. And that one limiting belief, once you can pinpoint it, it can be healed. So for example, let's say you're feeling unfulfilled, you're feeling fearful, you're feeling afraid right now. Well, why? Well, maybe you're spending a lot of time on social media rabbit holes, and you're getting this information that's making you extremely scared, and you're feeling extremely disconnected from your root chakra, sense of safety. And because of that, you're not able to work, create, hang out with friends, have self-care, have sex, do any of the things that would make you joyful. But really the core problem is you're going outside of yourself for solutions. You're going to social media instead of checking in within. You are letting random people who you don't know, who also don't know the future, to decide how you're going to live your life. And you might be doing it in the name of quote unquote staying informed, but it's information, first of all, that's not accurate. Second of all, no information is accurate for all people because we're on different timelines. We're on different trajectories, and your vibration is going to be the basis of that. So for some people, it's the end of the world, and for some people, it's the beginning of it. You get to choose. And if that word choice is triggering for you, I invite you to sit with why. Are you in the creatrix role of your life? Do you realize that you are a conscious creator, decider of your reality? Or are you fearful that you are going to lose your sovereignty to outside forces? Well, all that means is you've already given up your sovereignty. You've already given it up to social media, to YouTube, to Twitter, to whatever it is. You've already given it up then. So what you are fearful of has actually already happened, and that's your invitation to sit with how it feels and cut yourself off from whatever that addiction is. Again, going with this example of the social media rabbit holes, because I think this is really alive for a lot of people right now. Cut yourself off from that. What does that look like? Delete your social media. Stop checking whatever news source it is that you are checking that's creating so much fear within you. Focus on your spiritual practice. Focus on your heart, because that will never leave you and it will never let you down. And as you do this, your energy shifts, and then doing the impossible becomes possible because you're coming at it with a more refined energy. when you are frantic and scattered, like imagine like the Tasmanian Devil coming and trying to clean a home, right? Even if they tried, they would bulldoze everything apart because their energy is so scattered. They're the Tasmanian Devil, And this is how a lot of people are right now energetically. They look exactly like that. It's a spiral, and it's frantic, and it's pulling other people into it because they don't want to be alone in it. And because they think they're warning people, even though this basis that they have, again, is untrue. Because again, there's no one reality. So are you the Tasmania Devil right now? Or are you the, Lola Bunny? Are you the Goofy? Like, who are you? Who are you showing up as right now? And who do you want to show up as? Have a vision for that in your mind. For me, what's been really coming alive for me is just deeply connecting with my inner Dakini energy. Back when I lived in Bali, when I first got to Bali, I had just yoga clothes, etc. I wasn't super tapped into, all the divine feminine realms. I was only 22. And spending time there, I was so inspired by seeing these beautiful sisters wearing these gorgeous long dresses, and they would adorn themselves in these beautiful bangles and just adorn their third eye with bindis and have beautiful oils on their skin and flowers in their hair. And they looked like goddesses. They truly looked like walking dakinis, walking deities, walking jasmine flowers. And I was so inspired by them. And I was doing a lot of tribal fusion belly dance, which is a style of belly dance that incorporates different types of dance from around the world. And that slowly started to change my DNA. And instead of going to these very intense Ashtanga yoga classes, which is hyper masculine, I shifted my shorts for the long skirts, and I began to put on the bangles and let my hair down and really connect this divine feminine energy within me. And I can feel this energy really resurging within me again right now because, with this quarantine, I think we've all been wearing a lot of pajamas, a lot of just messy buns happening. And I am feeling connected to dressing up for the sake of it and adorning my body and letting my vessel be my sacred offering. And even more rituals, connecting to the water, connecting to Lemuria, connecting to the dolphin realms. I just recorded a beautiful dolphin meditation in Rose Gold Goddesses, connecting to the frequency of joy, of the joy and embodiment and heart-centered living within all of us, connecting to play, to exploration, to letting myself be that true embodiment of the rose. So for me, I place that on the altar of my life, and every decision that I make, is this in alignment with that vision, or is it keeping me from it? Is it taking me back into my, shadow side of overworking, like losing myself in my work and not having enough of that balance? So having that very clear vision of myself as the Dakini, the temple dancer, and letting that be my North Star as I make my decisions, it gives me such clarity. So I invite you to choose for yourself, what does my butterfly me look like? What does she feel like? What does she dance like? What does she do differently? What are her practices? Come back to that and place it on the altar of your life. Let each decision be guided by this vision board of you. And here's the thing with the vision boards, and what I don't like is it's like all of these pictures of things that are not you. They're magazine clips, so it's like very commercial in the first place. And it feels like you're buying into a Hollywood success story, right? I want a huge house and I want this and all this cool makeup, whatever it is. No, choose something that would never even be in a magazine. Like you don't see tribal fusion belly dance teachers with bindis in magazines, but that's what mine looks like. So what does that look like for you? Let it be wild. Let it be weird. Let it be unique. Let it be never seen before. Maybe it's You're like a medicine woman deeply connected to earth with tribal paints on your face. Or maybe you're a complete kitchen witch with all of your herbs and your medicines on your shelves, and you have a beautiful witch hat on. Or maybe you are like an embodiment of Kuan Yin and just so compassionate and heart open and nurturing and healing. Or maybe you're a super sensual like Lalita Sundari and you're wearing the super sexy outfit, but you're super sacred at the same time. What does she look like for you? Write it down, draw it, and let each decision be guided by her. This is how we shift timelines. This is how we create our dharmas. This is how we become living embodiments of our highest visions. It comes through clarity, which then guides our action. So I invite you to sit with this and join us this month. We have a Lemuria Goddess Circle for you in Rose Gold Goddesses, connecting to your heart, your intuition, the ways of the community, the ways of the islands, the ways of the dolphins, the sea creatures, all of the beautiful things that the ancient civilization, the heart-centered civilization of Lemuria represented, pure bliss, joy, ecstasy. That is what Lemuria is all about, and that is what I will guide you through in this month's Rose Gold Goddesses Circle. You can find that on the show notes, rosegoldgoddesses.com. We also have my Healing and Embodiment Through Dance entire e-course, which is a 3.5-hour long e-course where I guide you both through spoken and follow along dance workshops on how to connect with your body, whether you are a dancer, have never danced in your life, how to actually connect to your body. Notice what she's saying. Notice what movements you are intrigued by. What does that say about your psychosomatic state? And then dance practices that you can do to deeply anchor into different regions of your body, from your hips to your chest to your serpentine-like arms to undulations, and letting that be your spiritual practice. You know, something I really stand for is the spiritual practice for feminine beings is different than more masculine beings, because the masculine desires a lot of stillness and separation from the world, whereas the feminine craves movement and integration with the world. And that is why dance is what meditation is for females. And this is something that David Data has even said. So for women, the way that we pray is through our bodies. And this is why it is so important for women to dance. And when a woman starts dancing again, she becomes connected to her divinity in a way that no other practice does for her. So my Healing and Embodiment Through Dance workshop is in Rose Gold Goddesses, but we also have it available on its own. So you could also just purchase it on its own and dance along with me and come join this beautiful movement of connecting women back to their hearts and their yonis and their wombs through the practice of sacred dance. So I'm excited to connect with you further. And if you loved this episode, I would love to send you a free gift, which is the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. This is a different book than Eat Feel Fresh, my first book ever, which is not released anywhere. And I am gifting it exclusively to those who leave a review of my podcast in the iTunes store. So all you got to do is head over to iTunes, where you may be listening to this podcast, and leave a review. Take a screenshot that you've left it and email it over to me at Sahara@eatfeelfresh.com. Again, that's Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com. And I will send you back the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type, which goes all into Ayurveda, doshas, plant-based nutrition, body types, all of the things in a really fun and engaging way. So this is my gift to you for free for supporting the podcast. Every single review I personally read. It really helps the podcast be listened to by more people so we can raise the vibration of the planet together. And I am so grateful to have you on this journey. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Namaste.